Hi, this is Joseph Tan here from goodmonday.com. Today we are going to talk about the subject of anger. Now, anger is a emotion which is normal. In fact, our ability to feel angry reflects the fact that we are human beings. So it's not so much the emotion of anger itself, but it is how we resolve the emotions of anger. The key thing about anger is not to manage it. So it's not so much about anger management, it's about anger resolution. So when the emotions of anger abound, the approach is not to manage it but to resolve it. The reason why we need to resolve anger and not to manage it, because anger is a product of the past. Unless we make the effort to dig deep and to resolve issues of the past, we will not be able to resolve the anger, and just managing it will cause the anger to come back again and again and again. So are you ready to resolve it and not just manage it? Now, in resolving the emotions of anger, we need to realize that anger does not happen as a result of one event. In fact, anger is a accumulation of a series of events. And the approach to resolving anger requires us to just take a layer by layer approach to find out what is it that happened in the past, and since it was not resolved over time, cumulatively it resulted in expressions of anger, sometimes in a way that even the person who is involved with the emotions may not understand. So we would be doing a great favor if we learn how to approach the resolution of anger by moving layer by layer into resolving some issues of the past. What are some of these issues in the past? It may surprise you that it usually begins in a tiny way. It could begin with some matters of irritations, but if these irritations are not resolved, then it could lead on to misunderstanding. And if this misunderstanding is not resolved, then it leads to uh, the person being hurt. And if the hurt is not resolved, then bitterness may arise. And if bitterness is not resolved, it could even lead to aggression. Whether if it's passive or active, it is still aggression. So for anger to be resolved, we need to be able to listen at two levels. And listening at these two levels will help us to move layer by layer in a very thoughtful and understanding way, so that we can truly resolve the anger issue and not just to manage it. The first step is that we must listen to investigate, meaning we've got to ask questions that needs to decipher what happened in the past. Tell me the facts. Relate to me the events that cause you to have this feeling of bitterness or hurts. So our role is to be that of an investigator. Now, you've got to be particularly sensitive, especially in situations where you may be a part of the cause. Now, if you may be a part of the cause, it requires a lot of objectivity from your part to just ask what happened rather than to ask why are you feeling this way. Now, once the facts and the events is laid out on the table, then we need to peel a little bit deeper, and we need to be able to listen in order to identify. The reason why we need to listen to identify, because we are getting into what I would call the raw zone. This is the part where the person needs to have the assurance that he is in a safe environment, because the feelings that is shared at this level it's very personal, because it has to do with his or her identity as a person. Many times when when you investigate and the person relates to you the facts and the events surrounding the situation, it 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 is almost like testing the waters. They are just testing whether if you will truly listen. And if you pass this first level of listening, then they will be more likely to share with you their personal feelings, and they are hoping that you can identify with them. So how does this identification take place? Now, how do we listen in order to identify? Now, listening to identify requires us to be sensitive to the two basic needs of individuals. And if these needs are unmet, you guess it, it will lead to irritation, it will lead to hurts, it will lead to bitterness, and eventually anger comes as a result. So the first basic need that we have is the need for acceptance, meaning there will be the question of, do I matter? Do people pay attention to me? In a sense, am I accepted? So whatever that we do, you find that in general is to have a sense of belonging. If who I am, what I say is not accepted, then I would find it hard to go through life with a satisfied and with a fulfilled outlook, and it may lead on to irritation, hurts, bitterness, and the list goes on. Secondly, it is the need for appreciation, meaning do what I do matter? So we all have a sense of wanting to contribute. And if what I contribute does not matter to people, and I do not receive the recognition or the appreciation, then the feelings build up. Irritation, hurts, bitterness, and eventually, you guess it, it can lead to anger. So in order to resolve anger at this raw level, we need to be very patient, and we need to help the other person to process. Has there been any incidences in the past where you felt that you were not accepted? Have there been any incidences in the past where you felt that you are not appreciated? And if you can get this person to be able to express his or her feelings of non-acceptance and non-appreciation in the past, I think we are getting closer to resolving the issue of anger at the heart level, if we look at unmet needs and not just at the facts of the case and the events that have happened, but to trace it back to unmet needs. So the next time when you are faced with an angry person and you want to be able to resolve the anger, remember the key word is to resolve and not to manage. We've got to ask questions about the actions that took place, but beyond just the action, we need to be able to get right down to the raw feelings, and that is to identify, were there any needs of acceptance that were not met? Were there any needs of appreciation that was left unnoticed? And you would realize that if we are able to deal with the rawness of the feelings at this level, then resolving anger becomes a little bit easier. And one word of caution, as you go deeper and deeper into the layer of resolving the issues of the past, it requires a high degree of humility on your part. Because guess what? As you move from layer to the rawness of the feelings at acceptance and appreciation level, you may be part of the problem in the past. And if you do not have the humility and the objectivity to listen and to understand, then the whole thing blows up and we are back to square one again. Think about it. This is Joseph Tan here from goodmonday.com. If you like this video, do click subscribe. And if you need to find out more information about my coaching and facilitation services, do check out the website goodmonday.com. Thanks for watching.